Welcome to an episode of Health with Shane, where we explore the concepts underpinning the subject health that we are all studying. Today's video is talking about the river of life, which is the basic underpinning concept that covers all of our study within this course. Most of this video is generated by AI using NotebookLM, and you'll also be able to see that watermarked on the particular video, and obviously the voice will change. But this is our general diagram that is used to illustrate the river of life within the syllabus. And then I have a more precise version. When I mean precise, just clearer in the directional activity of elements that I use in class. So this video will now explain the river of life, how it underpins our study in health, and how all the elements within the river of life interact for us to understand the health status and health context. I hope you learn.
So let me ask you something. When you think about health, do you see it as just an on-off switch? You know, you're either sick or you're healthy. That's kind of how we talk about it, right? But what if that's not the whole story? What if there's way more to it? Okay, let's get into this. Welcome. Today, we're going to explore a really cool idea called the river of life. It's a powerful way to reframe health, not as some destination you finally arrive at, but as a journey you're literally always on. And that's really the core concept here. Health isn't some fixed state of being. It's a dynamic, constantly changing journey. And the metaphor we're going to use for this whole journey is a river. Now, this idea comes from a sociologist named Aaron Antonovsky. And what's so powerful about how he frames this is that he's not asking if we're in the river. Nope, he just states it as a fact. We are all in it always. So the real questions are, what are the conditions of our river and how good are we at swimming? So let's just toss out that old on-off switch idea for good. Instead, I want you to picture health as a continuum, like a line with two opposite ends. And our position on that line, it's always shifting, moving back and forth our entire lives. It's a fluid journey, definitely not a fixed state. All right, with that in mind, let's get our feet wet, shall we? We're going to explore all the different parts of this model to see exactly how it all works. And here it is, the river of life. This simple drawing represents our entire health journey. Just imagine every single one of us is a swimmer in this river, constantly moving between those two banks, which represent the extremes of health. On one side, we've got what Antonovsky called dis-ease. This is that pole representing the total absence of health. And then on the other bank, you've got ease, which is the pole of total health. The key thing to remember is that we're all constantly moving between these 2 points. The goal isn't to get out of the water, it's to learn how to swim toward the ease side. Of course, any river is never perfectly still, right? It's got currents, things floating in it, all these forces that push and pull us in different directions. Well, in our health journey, these are all the factors that influence which way we're headed. So the first of these forces are called determinants. The best way to think about these is like the general conditions of the river itself. The water temperature, how fast the flow is, the overall environment. They're these big, broad factors that can kind of nudge us toward either ease or dis-ease. And this really shows you just how wide-ranging those determinants are. I mean, it's not just about diet and exercise. It's your income, your education, the society you live in, your genetics, the environment all around you. All of these things are shaping the very river you're swimming in. Now, along with these general conditions, we also run into stressors. So if determinants are the river's general vibe, stressors are the sudden rapids, those unexpected whirlpools, or maybe some sharp rocks hiding under the surface. They are specific events or challenges that threaten to pull us off course and really push us toward that dis-ease shore. Okay, so we're in a river. It's filled with all these determinants and stressors. Sounds a little daunting, right? But here's the empowering part, and this is really key. We are not helpless in this river. We have tools and we have skills we can use for the swim. To navigate all those currents and challenges, we use things called resources. These are our assets. They're the tools in our toolkit that help us manage stressors, stay afloat, and actively swim towards the ease side of the river. And we've got two main types of resources. Think of it like this. Personal resources are like the swimming gear you actually own, like your very own pair of flippers. Community and social resources, on the other hand, are more like a lifebuoy that someone throws to you right when you need it. So a personal resource is basically something you have or can develop yourself. This could be your knowledge, your self-esteem, your problem-solving skills, or hey, even financial security. They're the tools that are part of you. Community and social resources, though, they come from the outside. They are found in our relationships and in our society. This could be supportive friends and family, having access to good health care, or being part of a welcoming community. They're the lifebuoys that we can reach for.
But just having resources isn't always enough. We have to be able to use them. And that's where barriers and enablers come in. A barrier is anything that blocks our access to a resource. Think of it like a big log in the river just getting in your way. An enabler does the exact opposite. It enhances our access, acting like a helpful current that pushes you right toward that lifebuoy.
Okay, we've defined all the individual pieces now. The river, the poles of ease and dis-ease, the determinants and stressors, our resources, and those barriers and enablers. So now let's zoom out and see how this all works together as one big dynamic system. And here's that map again, but now it should make a whole lot more sense. We're the swimmers. The river itself is shaped by determinants. Stressors pop up, trying to push us towards dis-ease, but we use our personal and community resources to swim towards ease, all while we're navigating the barriers and enablers that affect our journey.
So how can we actually use this model in a practical way? Well, it's kind of like a four-step process. First, you've got to understand the conditions of your river, the general determinants, and the specific stressors you face. Second, take stock of your tools. What personal and community resources do you actually have? Third, recognize what's helping or hindering your access to those tools. And finally, use all that understanding to actively swim your way towards ease.
So here's the crucial point, the big takeaway. This model shifts our focus completely. Instead of just trying to fix problems or avoid getting sick, the goal becomes building up our strengths. It's all about becoming a better, more resourceful swimmer who's capable of navigating the river of life no matter what it throws at us. It's such a positive, proactive way of thinking about well-being. And that leaves us with one last, really personal question. Just take a second to think about your own journey. What are the determinants that are shaping your flow? What resources do you have in your toolkit? And what enablers can you lean on to help you swim strong? What's in your river?